Welcome back to the Quest for Treasure. You are on the Quest for Details channel. We're at a fork in the road. I'm out of breath because we're hiking. And I'm climbing. We have Mars, the Wonder Dogo, with us. I guess he's my new backup in life. It's good to have. And we're gonna go get some Lake County diamonds. And yes, that's what they're called. They're called Lake County diamonds. They're a type of quartz, but when people have said that to me, it's kind of laughable because there's a lot of the planet that's a kind of quartz, and we're talking like a large percentage of the entire planet is a type of quartz. So, these are not a terminated crystal. They do not grow in shafts. They occur here. Like Herkimer diamonds, which are not true blood diamonds from Africa. They're just a different type of stone, which people have called diamond, are from Herkimer, which I believe is an actual town and a location in the East Coast. These are Clear Lake diamonds. So they're a type of quartz, and they occur in this county, although we're not in. They're called Lake County diamonds. We're not in Lake County. We're going to a place that has been known for, I was brought here 20 years ago when I used to have to sneak in. Now I'm actually a property owner around here. And this place is called Diamond Flats. And I no longer have to sneak in. So we're going to go collect some diamonds. It's the end of the season. And yeah. In one of the last videos that I did on these diamonds, because I had so many people accusing me of clickbaiting and stuff like that because they'd never heard of Lake County diamonds, or probably even Herkimer diamonds, or any of the others that I'm not aware of that have been given common names like that. These also don't have any other name that's not common except for the Native Americans. You know, we say, I've been told that they were called moon tears. There's a whole legend that goes along with it. But where we are is we're in a land that was once, they say, all a sheet of volcanic lava. And in amongst, and that has been eroded by water. So canyons have eroded it all, and it has been accordioned and jacked up by the plates shoving it up. But there are also cores everywhere, where intrusions of lava came up, igneous rock, and the mountains have weathered away. So it wasn't showing until the dirt slid off of it. And in these cores that you see, and they're all over up here, are the diamonds. And you can find them embedded in that core. By core I mean the tip of that, and I can show you smaller examples of these cores where it's literally like a pinnacle. But it happens all the time. Anywhere where lava gets shoved up, you know, the layer of our crust is 4 to 44 miles thick, and it varies. So where it's thin, like here, we're in a heavy volcanic zone. They actually consider it highly dangerous and highly active, and you get little push-ups everywhere. And then the mountains, the dirt that's over them erodes away, and you just get the volcanic shaft of lava that came up left. And they're everywhere. There's 100 of them just out in this range, and they're small. They're just the size of a hill. It's the core of a mountain, and these are eroding out of them. You can climb up, you can find them sticking straight out of the faces of the rocks, and then stuck all over in specimens down the slopes, and then completely weathered out and loose in the soil. And that's the pattern of decomposition. So these, in my opinion, are not things that formed in the rock. They're tight in the rock. I have found bucket loads. I have known hundreds of people that have collected jar loads. There's never been one terminated California diamond, Lake County diamond, that came out of here, meaning never one that looked like a crystal, a quartz crystal. I had people say, these are just broken, terminated quartz crystals. They're just pieces of, and they're not. meadows, fields, an entire county full of these things, and none of them have a single terminated edge on them. They are all just roughly broken, and that's one of the aspects of them. That's their habit. That's what you call it, I believe, and that's their habit. That's how they break. That's how they look. That's their habit. And you can find them a stone like this. I'll show you with 10 different diamonds in there, and they weather out of that, and they never are in any sort of pillared shape, any sort of terminated shape. They're not that type of quartz crystal. I see. But just to settle that all out, because the first time I explained myself really well, the video went over pretty good. The second time I didn't. I said, let's go hunt some Lake County diamonds. And it was like, you fiendish clickbaiter, how dare you make us think that we were looking for diamonds, you know. So I've had to like fix the title and put quartz in there in big letters and all that. So overkill on the intro here. I'll just show you some stones as we pull them out. We're climbing up. Look at this. There's a river way down there. And we have 2 hours to hunt. That's why I'm talking and walking. That's why I should have been walking more than talking. But for everybody who has no idea what I'm talking about, has never heard of these, hopefully it's helpful also, because that's the other part of it, is might as well explain it as good as I can, you know. You can find some good ones as you get within sight of this, just laying in the gravels and stuff. That's what you're doing, is kind of hunting the bare areas. But they get thicker as you get up into the fields. Of course, then you have grass to contend with. So here's the creek. I don't know what that is, but this is the creek that you'd run into. And there are diamonds right here, and you can follow this uphill. But mostly if you stay on the slopes to the right of it and the flats up above is where the main collecting is to be done. And this is the stone that makes up the core of the mountain. And this is what they're weathering out of, and you can grab any piece of this, and if you just slow your brain down, you look really close, you'll see them sticking out. Never terminated, just in the tight little pockets. See them there in the middle? Now those are inky dinkies, but that's just the first stone I grabbed. Let's look at the next one. It's full, and there's also other things. I've seen other precious stones up here. But pretty much all of these, if you look close, have little diamonds embedded in them. There's a bigger one. And that's how they come. And they're just tight. They do not look like something that grew in a void. They look like something that's distributed throughout the rock and is weathering out. And I think that they were down below. And like many gems, they were brought up to the surface in the rock, and they're weathering out. Offer me your theory. But that's my theory. They formed deep below in pressures and heat. They were brought up, and now they're weathering out. And this is the rhyolite schist that's all through here. And in that you'll find common opals of different colors too. So remember to keep your eyes out. I see that endeavorious human beings have been up here pocketing the whole thing. But it's okay. It literally, the material that you're seeing here goes back and forth for a quarter mile. This creek has meandered. For these rocks to be this small, they have moved down the mountainside, eroding and dribbling out their gems as they went. And this is one of those spots, like the sunstones of Oregon, where there's just a lot of them. Now the huge ones laying on the surface can get picked up pretty easy. But look, anywhere to stop, I'm going to show you. Oh, some off the side. This is the main creek. And look, there's little Lake County diamonds, little pieces of quartz crystal. And that's just a fractured off piece of one of those little pockets that you saw embedded in the rock. Up and eroding out. See? And they kind of cleave. And that's what they look like. And they can get very large. Very large is like that. These are moderate size. And then this micros that you see are probably in 1/5 of the creeks in this county. If you stop and you look really close. So they're well distributed. Ooh, citrine. No, I'm just kidding. It's pine sap. But yeah, as far as the supply getting exhausted, and this is the meadow that people discovered and had known about, so I'm sure that there's plenty of unknowns. Okay, with no further ado, I'm going to go up to my favorite hunting zone because you all have your favorite spots. I see that they wiggled about this far into the bushes, and then the hunting gets kind of scarce. And there's abandoned waterways, which were this at one time. And anywhere out through the dirt I've looked, and it's loaded up, and all through the meadows. So, now that's all the clues, all the info you get. Okay, right here is some really blue colored common opal. Let me see if I can get the light on there for you. And this is super high silicate, so it feels very light, like what they call precious opal, which has the broken fragments in it that refract, all rainbowy. This has the same yellow and blue to it, but it does not have the refracting particles. Common opal. It's a nice piece too. That's about the specimen quality up here, and you can go from this type of blue to a little darker blue, and then off into the yellows and lemon meringues and the caramel opals and stuff. So I love this stuff, but I mean, it is very prevalent around here. But so are the diamonds. And it will occur in green bands. That's actually dark green running through there. And you can see people have dug out. All I can say is everybody try and fill in your holes as much as possible. Just shifting gravel in a creek bed. You know, I don't mean you have to put every rock back, but there's actually nothing here that triggering. But just use your sense, you know what I mean? For people who aren't miners and prospectors, you don't want them to see us devastating anything, or something that would trigger them and make them think that we were devastating anything. And that way everybody stays all free and happy about people coming up here. I always tell people, you know, it's good for the environment, but even if you're a self-centered person, not saying that you are, but even if you are self-centered and you are only focused in your endeavors, then to preserve your endeavor, whatever you do, whatever sport or activity you like, then try and do it respectfully and in a way which will allow you to come back and do it again, right? It's common sense, and it can actually serve yourself as much as anything else. So you can stay under the shade line, or as you go out into the field, you have a chance to find large ones that no other human being has spotted because a gopher pushed them up and nobody's traced across it. You can see the ATV tracks, and that's a good place to hunt too. Any gopher hole, anywhere where there's bare dirt. And these look a little tarnished up, but they wash up. It's mostly, some of them have been sun scorched and have a little, I don't know, worn patina on them. But it usually washes off and they come clear. This is a good spot to look for huge ones though. So you want to wander out and let your eyes hope for the big ones, and look in all the little bare spots that you can see between the grass. And that's the name of the game out here. And while some people concentrate on quantity in the creeks, which is a guaranteed, I like to concentrate on quality in the field like this. which is exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, look at that. So that got pushed up and laid there. Now this is a great shape form. That's semi as big as, you know, they can come bigger, but then they're megaliths. Yeah. Look at that. That's what I mean. And that's ready to be wrapped. These can be cut. They're really beautiful cut. And I like to tell people, remember that they're have all the beauty and sometimes even more meaning than the blood diamonds, and they're not blood diamonds. So this could be an alternative. People really like clear diamonds. These are forever. And their name Moon Tear comes from the love story. Oh, look. See, it's that time of year where the grass is masticated enough to where you can see through it. All this little fine green stuff has died back and thinned out. This is a really good moment. We're actually on a rhyolite knob. If you look close, it's kind of like a white dirt, a white decomposing granite looking stuff. That's not what it comes out of, but that's where the gophers have pushed these up on top of. It actually comes out of the red toned dirt. Dirt more often is more rich in them, which is the decomposing stones that they are in turned into red dust. I'm going to turn you off, and I'm going to turn you back on when I got something shiny to show you. Here's a very fractury one. It's got some red staining from being in the iron dirt. And my camera's having a hard time in the bright light with these. I'm sure you're noticing. It's got a lot of fractures to it. Each one different. I've been to the museums around here. There's one in Lakeport that has some huge specimens. So every time that I come up here, it doesn't matter how many times, still waiting to see that little knob sticking out of the ground. Pull it back. It's the golf ball, or the softball, or the, you know what I'm talking about. There's a mountain here. And as you see, it's pretty steep. And that is the core that we're climbing up towards. We're paralleling the creek. Hey, buddy. Another pretty incredible view here. Hey, Marzi. Just give me the water out of your backpack, buddy. We're continuing up the creek. Now we're in the upper fields. We've dropped back down into it. And you can just walk along this, plugging them out. This one to stop here is like the last spot that I hung out with Drover in the wild. And me and Mars are going to have some water. Hunk down a bit. We'll see you guys in a moment. Okay, I got that one out. It's still got its dirt on there. Yeah, clean up of all these at the end with their beauty shots. I am going to go, I don't know, a lot of these holes haven't been gone through. Sometimes there's a big one lurking in there. I'm going to gather a bunch of these littles too. But this is the heart of the deposit, so there's a fair amount to choose from. It's broken, almost looks worked. Somebody's been sifting. But your holes look really great. That's something that I will say, is that your holes look really great. I see them sealed back up with big rocks and ready to catch again. I see where you've been, but only just because of the tailings and stuff. So that's actually a really good job, and I appreciate it. That is the way of it. Wherever you go, there are different techniques. You can hand gather surface and hope for that type of luck, or you can dig straight down and hope for your luck like that. And I tell you what, I spent all day long digging before to have somebody walk by me and pluck something off the ground that was 10 times that big. And then I've looked over and seen people dig stuff out of the ground that made me think, man, I should have been digging all day long. Well, but truth be told, if you focus on a little area like this and you go down and you go down, you will at least get all the big ones out of that spot. Oh, here is a great example. Check this out. All these larger rocks, you can find bigger specimens of them. And that's what they look like. There's another one here. And it shows their habit. So you see how they're long and kind of skinny. So this is broken away on the side. So you're seeing a side section. These are the ones that you're looking at like that. You're just seeing from the top. Here's another cluster sticking out here. You see those? So those are all, that's also a side section. So normally you'll just see the tips of them sticking out like that, and they're not terminated. None of those will ever be terminated, and I've seen thousands and thousands and thousands of the pockets, and they're tight in the stone. The stone is a rounded creek stone. It's been first mass wasted out of the core, and then eroded down by water, wind, and other gravels and stuff into the shape it is. And so when this side broke off here, this little pocket was exposed, but they're not so much a growth pocket as they are just a cluster stuck in the rock. So that's how these come out. And there are a few, and here's another. We're surrounded, you know, because we're literally 400 yards away from the core. The top of the mountain. It goes downhill from all directions from here. There they are. Still stuck in the rock from whence they got pushed to the surface. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of, right as I say that, look. It's like I'm going to wander and look for big ones. Look what's popping out of the ground. That's why in some spots if you just stop and dig down, it can be just as good. Look at that. Very clear in the center. What's that? Another one right below it, pretty big. Look at this. So I packed up my whole bucket, all my tools, set it in the middle of my garage, got the dog, got his water, jumped in my truck excited. Oh my god, I forgot my coffee. I ran back inside, got the coffee, pounded that on my way down the road, got to the bottom of the ATV trail, parked the truck, started climbing up, and realized I didn't have my bucket with me. That's why we were digging through with our fingers and stuff. It's okay. Ow! Thistle! Out in the field again, looking for the occasional big rare one. When they get kicked up, they have dirt on them at first and they're hard to see. Yeah. These have been kicked up by bikers, I think. Or some sort of vehicle. Deer flies up there. Man, these are hot to the touch. They're a little dirty, but just kind of plucking all the big ones I see. Looking for that shape and hoping for that golf ball sized stone. They're up here. Oh, yeah. Say follow the vehicle ruts around from the four-wheel drive people. Look at that. Boom. Those are some bigger carat stones. Nice. Using little dirt bike tracks. I think the other humans probably spotted these. We're gonna go work the creek a little bit more and then we gotta go. Look at that. That's pretty big. You see that long skinny needle shape. God. Digging through with my fingers, there's a good specimen. Look at that one. It's small, with them sticking out. The dynamics of how little creeks work also is that they stay shallow like this by having little things that block their flow. When you open something up, instead of being wide and meandering, it creates a deep focus channel that then cuts deeper and deeper and deeper and can cause a lot of erosion. So just make sure when you're mining out little creeks for anything that you're prospecting that you don't, you're going to move big rocks, but put them back. And when you're trying to figure out how to put stuff back when you've done a lot of moving around, it's good to do little obstructions. Basically, you want the water to stall and stall and stall, and so slow down and stay wide instead of skinny. So that's part of restoring it. Just a little tip in case you care and you want to know how I think is the right way. Something I noticed. You look like it went down in a blaze of glory and they left us using the metal part. I'll haul that out. Most part looks pretty good. Just tossing some of the bigger stones back in so it keeps it slow. We don't want to come up here and find a 10-foot ditch has eaten its way down and, you know, gone into bad layers that don't have anything in it, and the creek's all full of mud. And I've seen horrible things change. I've come back to places and just been like, my God. It's the golden goose. Treat your golden goose well. You could be up here collecting golden eggs for a long time. Okay, Mars gotta drink some more water, and then we're going to head back down, and we'll pick and pull along the way. This is just a couple-hour hike. Get some crystals. I'll show you the cleanup back home. Got a modest little bag. Like I said, I was going for quality over quantity. So that's a bag of wrapping stones is what I got there. I'll show you them cleaned up in a second when we're back home. And we're done collecting on our way down. So many flies, it's horrible. It's a hot Indian summer in October in California.